Okay. So I made it to the top of the, what do they call it, the goat trail.
Yeah.
I pretty much the hardest thing I've done in a long time. Took us, I think, somewhere, what, around 2 hours?
Yeah, probably from crossing the road up to here was 2 hours.
That's what, maybe a mile straight. But I'm not sure how long it is. There's a lot of switchbacks.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Very rough.
Good view up here. As you can see, valleys, mountains as far as you can see. Every direction. We completely lost everybody else, but they've probably got to be at least a mile or two ahead of us. This, from here on out for the next, what, about 2 miles, it's relatively flat, so we don't have too much trouble. We have 3 different campsites picked out depending on the weather and time of day. 2 of them are near a water source, but it's down in a little valley. But the pace that they're making, because they're setting our campsite more or less.
Yeah, we're just going until we find them.
Yeah, we might have to take a side road to catch up with them. We have, between the two of us, we have enough water to last us for the next day and a half, so that's not really an issue. That's really the only benefit to taking that side trail, because we're probably not going to camp. It's still early in the day. It's about 3 now. Left at about 11, give or take a few minutes. It's about, what, 4 miles in?
Probably, yeah.
So it's not, that mountain is rough, and I knew I wasn't going to have an easy time with it, and I pretty much did it about as good as I expected. By about the halfway point, I finally paced it, so I wasn't having too many issues with my asthma, and my mother here helped me through it.
If your mother looks like me, you got problems.
But he helped me out quite a bit getting up here and finding spots. It's really rocky for about the last probably maybe quarter mile. Before that, it's mostly just dirt. We stopped up here. Neither of us is hungry, but we figured we should get some calories in us. Steve, I brought little Kool-Aid packets because I have kids and they drink them. And I didn't feel like digging them out, but Steve brought a whole tub of Tang. So we could each have some Tang, and that makes things a little nicer up here. It'd be nice if I said we should just camp here and brought a bottle of whiskey, but there's not really enough room up here to really camp.
One of us would roll down the mountain.
Definitely. Finally making it to the top of the mountain. Pretty good view all around. Gonna celebrate with some Tang.
I could kiss whoever invented this.
We've got a good view here. Sitting where we're sitting, we can't really see anything. If we go out there in the outlook, we can see one road, but this is pretty much Pennsylvania wilds. That light way down there, you can barely see. There's the road. It's the only road through this valley. See the lights just peeking through there. Get some pretty heavy fog coming in, as you can see. It's way out there. It's at the other end of the valley right now, but it's fucking moving this way. There's one road that goes through here, and it's pretty much just a road for the trail. There's a couple of houses and a couple of hunting cabins. There's a bar way at the bottom, but I think that's more or less just there for the campers and the people living there.
Yeah.
We've seen a bear on the way in, which we didn't mention earlier.
Yeah, when we were driving up to the parking area, there was probably a yearling ran across the road. Too big to still be with Mom, but he wasn't full size yet.
I said he wasn't big enough for me to wrestle yet, so I left him alone. We didn't see any snakes or anything, but we've seen a couple of snake holes. I haven't really seen any animals.
No.
I'm surprised I haven't seen much of anything up here. I don't hear birds.
They're probably waiting for the rain.
Yeah. We did have a couple of drops of rain up on the hill. Got some dark clouds off of, if you look out that way, if you can see it on the video here.
Northwest-ish.
Yeah. It's supposed to be a pretty good chance of thunderstorms today. It looks like we're going to get hit by something. I can't say for sure. We have to go, I believe, looking at the map, it's relatively flat up here, and we're going to be heading, I believe, over to that mountain over there for the second day trip. That mountain is probably, I don't know, 200-300 feet higher elevation than this one.
Probably.
But it's not a steep of trip.
The worst part's behind us.
Yeah. We've passed the worst part. This is the part that makes and breaks people. Our friend Gary, which is the guy who set this trip up, if you make it to the top of the hill, he respects you. So we made it.
All right, time to go home.
Yeah. The only problem is it's just we either go down that hill or we walk 8 miles that way. Took about a half-hour break up here, got some food. Not much, we're not hungry, but we have a good view. We're obviously not catching us, and they obviously are not going to wait for us. I told them they don't have to, but they took us on the word. Steve knows what he's doing, and I'm not experienced, but I know enough that I'm not going to get in trouble. Unless I get hurt, I'll be fine. So I think we'll survive. We'll catch up with them probably at camp, and we've stopped a few times for video and stuff, and we don't know that they've stopped at all. We were in yelling range for a while, though we haven't been able to get them for a while now. They were up towards the top of the mountain before we really even got halfway up it, probably.
Yeah.
That's probably the last time we heard them. So it's not too bad. I'm assuming that they're stopped somewhere, so maybe we'll catch up to them. Maybe they're waiting for us a little bit. But at least we got the good views. And I guess that's about all we can hope for up here.
Yeah.
We climb to the top of the mountain, there may be something good to look at. So I'll give you guys another view before I shut you off. As far as you can see. Mountain.
Yeah. Mountain.
See if I can get some video. There's a stream probably 1,000 feet down from us. I can stand up. Yeah, if you can see it way down there. That's a stream that we weren't down there, we were at the other end of the stream. But this is the elevation change. So as you can see, this is not the tallest mountain in the area. Some people probably wouldn't even call this a mountain, but it's the biggest hill I ever went up.
To the camera, I'll show you the elevation. There's the valley, and there's the bottom. Just about straight down. But we got to get back on the trail, so we'll talk to you guys later. We're right between the double arrows, so we're about halfway up the bad hill, or halfway where we could still turn back. Of course, we're not going to do that, because we packed all this shit and brought it out here, so we're going somewhere besides where the car's parked.
Yeah, I figured I'd have a rough time, and my asthma's really been acting up, so it's been making it a little worse. We got within shouting distance of the rest of the group, which is good considering how far.
Yeah.
We stopped a few times for video, and a lot of breaks. This hill I've been stopping a lot. Puffs on my inhaler every 10 minutes, so hoping it, well, it's not that it levels off or whatever. I don't know if we're probably 1,000, 1,500 feet higher elevation than what I'm used to. So I don't know if that's what's causing it or what. I know I'm out of shape, but my heart rate's not getting super crazy high, so just my lungs burning.
Next time.
This is what a man looks like who found the actual top of the hill.
Alright, so we misjudged our distance a little bit, but we're on top of the mountain now. It started to rain a little bit. As you can see, we covered our bags up best we could. But we have about 2.5 miles to the campsite. It's almost 5:30, so we're going to try and bust our asses over there. It's pretty flat from here to the campsite, so we should be able to make it there with enough time to set up camp.
Yeah, we have a map, but it's just a piece of a map. It doesn't have a scale, and we misjudged the scale by probably about maybe a half mile. Where we were sitting before, you couldn't see any higher because of the trees. We assumed we were in an outlook that was marked on our map, and obviously we were wrong by about 2 hours more hill climbing. I say this qualifies as a mountain. That in the distance is pretty fucking big. The mist is starting to roll in out there, so we have gorillas in the mist up here shortly. But I don't want to stop here too long because we're in kind of a hurry because we misjudged. It's probably a good lesson. Make sure you have a scale on your map, because we didn't have a scale, so we just kind of went by feel, and we were off by probably a half mile. But mainly because how steep the hill was, we couldn't really tell how far we went distance-wise. So, know your terrain a little better and this won't happen to you. Now we're rushing the last 2 hours to get to camp before dark. We've been yelling for our companions, and we haven't heard them yet. There's a side path up here that actually is an old road that we're going to take to meet them at their final campsite. The original path was taking us down a small ravine to get some water, which we're not going to make. We're going to start walking when we record here. We're going to take a side road. We, not knowing who all was here, and we have a couple of liabilities, me for one. We parked a car where on the last trip that our friend didn't make it past, so we have a car there, and it will actually prove to be about the halfway point. We should pass it quicker because we're taking a little side detour, but it's what we got to do to catch up with our group. Personally, if this is my planning, I would have stopped here for the night. There's a campsite right back there at a fire ring. That probably would have worked pretty well. Maybe not for 9 people, but not our trip. We'll check back probably when we get to camp.